Welcome to this video on roles management in Devo. The roles management feature provides granular, role-based access control with the ability to mask or hide data down to the very field. In this video, we will see how a role can be created to suit a user's individual needs. Let's start with the basics. The starting point would be a new domain. When you go to Administration, Roles, you will see two roles automatically created: Administrator, a role with all privileges, and No Privileges, a role with the most limited access. When we click a role, we can see the policies in the middle pane. Policies are the core of what users can access. The policies can be assigned in the scope of two modes, View and Manage. While both modes grant access, Manage mode is needed in order to make changes. The Administrator role has all policies enabled. These two default roles have fixed permissions that cannot be modified. However, we can still view and assign individual resources to roles as they get created along the way. These tabs will only be activated once the relevant permission has been given on the area. You can create a custom role to manage these permissions from scratch. Let's see this in action. In our scenario, a team leader analysing incidents related to firewall has spotted an anomaly in the data shown on an active board. Here we can see that there is a large number of connections coming from an untrusted area. The team leader would like to assign the task of further investigation to another team member and will therefore create a specific role with the ability to view said active board, review the query, and create an alert for this type of suspicious behaviour. First, we need to create a role for this user. We can now assign the relevant permissions for the policies in our scenario. To begin the investigation, the user would need access to active boards in order to examine the chart with the anomaly. In the Permissions tab, find Resources and go to Active Boards. Now we can decide which mode to activate. You can click the icon to show the implications of both. As this user only needs to view the active board in question, we will activate View mode. Notice the Active Boards tab has been activated. Since the active board in question has been marked as shared, it appears here in the list to give the user access. Now the user must be able to go to the query supplying the active board. For this, we can define finders to give the role access to tables related to firewall. Go to Data Search, Finders, and again click the icon to decide what scope of permissions to give. Now you can specify the tables the role is able to consult by selecting it in the drop-down menu. The final step would be to enable the creation of alerts for our user. Notice the Alerts tab is not enabled. Again, we must find the policy in the list and give permissions to configure alerts. In order to create an alert, the user must have Manage permissions. Now the tab has been activated, allowing us to assign specific alerts to view or manage. Once you have finished the process, click Create and your custom role is created. Now we can go to Administration, Users, and assign this role to our user. The user can now access the active board to examine the chart with the anomaly. Go to the query to check the data, and finally create an alert to warn about suspicious behaviour. Thank you for watching. Visit us online to keep up to date with the latest content.